I don't have the list in front of me, but I think Mr. Crafty was first on.
I was first on. I got a couple subjects. First of all, we couldn't find the agenda on your website until later this afternoon, and it wasn't posted on the building. Only a notice saying the meeting was on the second floor was on the building. Next is the issue is raised on whether or not a supervisor of assessments could contract a private individual to do her duties, and I believe Kirk asked last month for statutory language that allowed the county to contract the supervisor's assessment duties to a private individual. I know what the 35 ILCS 200/3-40 says, that the supervisor of assessments may, with the advice and consent of the county board, appoint necessary deputies and clerks, and their compensation fixed by the county board and paid by the county. That doesn't say anything about being able to contract a private person to do that work. It says you may employ people, meaning put them on your payroll. The last item is about the resolution for IMRF. I'm asking you to read the Local Government Officer Compensation Act. I believe participation in IMRF, insurance, life insurance, vehicle allowances, all that is a form of compensation. And the only way to change that is to put it in the compensation setting resolutions. And if it's not in the resolution for the county board members to receive IMRF,
Elected officials.
or elected, or other elected officials too, like the sheriff and the state's attorney and the county clerk, it has to be in that resolution or they can't receive it. I'm hoping it's in the resolution, since you guys, I'm assuming, are participating. So if you would check that, and I'll probably check anyway, so thanks.
Okay, thank you. Sarah Hudson,
No comments.
thank you. James Donasso.
I didn't think I was third.
I'll go.
I just have some questions. Well, one comment real quick, but I just asked to make a comment consistent to the meetings. It doesn't take up my time. Can I make a statement?
Go ahead, Jim.
I've been locked out of the building twice. I've been here for meetings. I'm right across the street. I get done at 5:30, and then 5 or 10 minutes later, I'm over here. The building's been locked. I've tried to come to some meetings. I haven't been able to get in. I just appreciate for public meetings that I have access. I mean, I don't want to make a big issue out of it. I just haven't been able to get in, so.
Do you know about the basement entrance?
Yeah, I've tried that, and, I wasn't able to access, and then the front door was
Really?
closed. Yeah. So I'm just, if I could, please, I'd like to attend some meetings, and that's all. Okay. And then I have some other questions, just for clarification, Mr. Chairman, if you will. The last meeting, I think you said something about 2 appointments to the Board of Review, but you didn't clarify, or you didn't say at that time who was actually being appointed to the Board of Review, or if these are just reappointments. Would you be able to share with us who those appointments are and when their term starts and finishes?
The two coming, leaving is John Reardon and
Yeah. It's a reappointment for Gerald Herman and Matthew Frederick.
right. Those two
And they're not
terms,
until June.
their terms expire. They're not due to be. They don't have to be reappointed until June.
So they are staying on then, or,
Yes.
and John is leaving, you said?
No one is leaving at this point. John Reardon's term
Does not expire.
does not expire this year.
So there's no turnover on the Board of Review?
I don't anticipate any, no.
And the next time that would happen would be if there would be an appointment, would be in June, you said?
Frederick and
Herman.
Herman will be appointed in June.
Reappointed.
Their term ends in
Okay,
June.
okay. All right.
The other man, his term expires next summer.
How long are those terms?
2-year terms.
Has there been any consideration for new people on the board at all?
I haven't had anybody volunteer for the job, and there are qualifications required.
Is there a process by which someone could get on the board, an application process?
I'm sure there is.
What is that process?
Yeah, they just need to send it by out.
Well, but they also have to be qualified, correct?
You have to be qualified within that first
Can
year.
you help Mr. Donasso with this at another time?
Sure.
Okay. All right, thanks for clarification. Then another one, you said that Mr. Becker is helping with the board review. I think that was the language you used at the last meeting. Can you define what exactly his role is? I went to a board review meeting. What, not being an appointed person, he's doing the reassessment. Why is he there? What's his role? How's he helping?
Well, first of all, the county board has no authority over the board of review. The board of review is an entity that operates through the assessor's office. Other than the appointment and approval of the board of review members, that's something probably Ms. Biddle could.
Well, I understand that, but you said he's helping out. In what capacity is he helping? What exactly is Mr. Becker's role?
Well, he did the valuation, of course, and there have been a lot of questions of how he arrived at his values and questions to that effect. And so he has been sitting in on the hearings to answer any questions the taxpayer might have.
Would a
as
township
far as
assessor
what
be sitting in those
goals,
hearings?
reviews, that kind of thing.
See, is under statute, is he allowed to speak during those meetings when the taxpayers are?
Yeah.
He can speak? I mean, when he's not asked a question by the taxpayer, is he allowed to? I know that Mr. Dukeman said last meeting that he was speaking at the meeting when he was addressing the board review. I just want clarification on that.
Speaking of the meeting, in a
I
board
mean, I don't
review
want to speak for
hearing.
you, Rex.
Right, in a board review meeting.
Yes, yes, he's allowed to do that.
So there is a statute that states that he can speak during a meeting.
I'd have to look into that by
No.
statute,
Would
but he's
that,
there as an
is there
employee
anything,
of
Mr.
the
Bauer?
county.
It's called CYA.
Not everything is by statute. There are rules, procedures within the board of review as to what can transpire.
But
Quite frankly,
I bet those aren't written.
he is there to answer questions. He is there as an agent of the assessor's office since he was involved in the assessment
So it
process.
would have to be listed in the board of review rules, is that correct?
Or practices and customs.
Is it?
No.
But practices or customs, I mean, at board of review hearings, historically in Coles County, if there's questions by the board of review as to the assessment process, an agent of the assessor's office will answer those questions as to the process.
Yes.
But is he acting as an agent for the assessor? I thought he was hired by the county board.
He wasn't hired by the county board. I mean, that's a legal issue that he is an agent of the assessor's office.
not
He
your
was
turn.
hired by the assessor.
All right, I just saw the board minutes
I mean,
where they approved
I
it.
thought it was.
All right, and then my next question was, you answered that one. Okay, so the next question would be about the DevNet software, because I read his bid. Did the county ever purchase DevNet software or rent it or whatever the agreement is? They did do that? So is the county in possession of that? Is that on the county's assessor's computer
Yes, it is.
system in the office down there?
Mhm.
Does Mr. Becker have a copy of that?
He didn't have a copy of it, he works in the office to
So
use
it's
it.
not on his personal computer then?
No.
Okay, that's all I got.
Mr. Perry?
Clarification, when I sat on the board of review for 2 years, when we have people in there that own the property, the dialogue is between the board of review members and the property owner. It doesn't allow anybody else that's going into that meeting to have anything to say because it's between the property owner and the board of review, nobody else. That's the way it works. I only got a couple of questions. Mr. Becker in his contract with the county, or his bid proposal, he said that he was going to do 2 courses and read a book. Can you tell me Mr. Chairman, did he go ahead and finish the coursework, and was it a passing grade
Mr.
as
Becker
his
was not-
contract stipulated?
Mr. Becker was not hired by the county board, he was hired by the assessor. There was a
That's
bid
fine, but
proposal-
it was to the county board that I read the communication. He was gonna read a book and complete 2 courseworks, classes. I'm asking, were those done?
He has done that.
No, he hasn't.
When I spoke with him last week, he said he had.
I've got the email correspondence. He's acknowledged he didn't take them
When was your email correspondence?
last week.
I spoke with him about,
He took some courses that he said were equivalent to.
well, I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, and at that time, he had not taken the courses you're referring to.
Right.
I advised him that he needed to get that done. I did not call back to double check that he didn't complete them yet.
What does that do to the contract? What does that do to the contract if he doesn't do what he says he'll do?
What contract?
The contract the county board approved that wasn't on the agenda.
Agree, disagree on whether it was on the agenda or not, but with regard to the contract, there was a bid proposal that the county board approved the bid proposal.
Is that not a contract between the county board and the guy that's doing the assessment? Did you not contract him to do a reassessment?
I believe that Ms. Biddle, as the assessor, hired him.
When I FOIA requested the
They're trying to
contract, they said there was no
claim he's
contract, only a bid proposal.
Right. There is a bid proposal.
That was approved by the board, and on the May 12, 2015, Meeting was
that-
approved.
That was approved by the board. That bid proposal was approved by the board.
so that's the contract.
I think what they're saying is you need to address the questions to the supervisor assessments and instead of the county board chairman and
I mean,
yeah.
maybe it's an argument of semantics, but he is associated with the assessor's office, not with the county board. There's a separation.
And the way sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
The way I'm understanding the conversation is there some attempt to claim that he's an employee of the supervisor of assessments now?
Yes, that's what he said.
So you'll have a W-2 from last year
I will, the county treasurer's office was confident that.
instead of a 1099? Okay, thanks.
It's not a W-2.
It was 1099.
So he's an independent.
Employees
contractor.
get W-2s, not 1099s.
W-2 is one factor in it looking at determining independent contractor employee status. It is a factor, you're correct. But there's other factors such as location, control, supervision, and things of that nature.
Okay,
And it's a question of fact.
thanks.
One last comment. I would suggest and hope that the board members would go to our meeting. I had the privilege of doing my board of review meeting, and we taped it. And if you'll go to Coles County Board meeting on YouTube, you'll be able to watch the Board of Review in action. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions of what you think after you watch the video. Coles County Board of Review, YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you. Edwin Wetzel?
I spoke to the meeting before last, and I told you my taxes went up 9% for 3 years in a row. Well, I went back and checked it, and I checked 7 years, and they went up 96%. In 7 years, that is 13.7% a year. How in Sam Hill do you think us people out here can stand those kind of increases every year on our taxes? I mean, it's time that somebody starts taking responsibility for spending money. I know it isn't all in your lap, I know that, but you're the one that sends out my tax bills. And my question is, and when are you gonna tell some of these people they can't get all that money? We passed Patel, which is property tax limitation law, and if land isn't property, I don't know what it is. I know it's taxed on productivity, but it's still property. And so how they can do that, I don't know. But anyway, my suggestion is you need to talk to somebody at all these different places and tell them to get their spending in order.
Thank you. Rex Dukeman?
I just want to go back to the topic as far as Mr. Becker's. If
if he didn't complete the courses, maybe he just has in the last week or so, then how can the assessments that he has done for Mattoon Township be honored? Couldn't be qualified, could he? And that wasn't the agreement that you had with him.
The bid proposal explicitly says that by completing these 2 courses and reading the fundamentals of mass appraisal, that should bring up, I want to get this right. He said by doing that, that should bring up his competency in doing mass appraisal. But if he just finished it post the township being appraised, I have a problem with that. I saw the email communication too. Mr. Becker is claiming that he took other courses that were equivalency courses. He's making that determination, but that's not what the bid was contingent upon. He admits in the bid that he's never done mass appraisals, but doing these courseworks and doing the reading the book would bring him up to speed. Now we find out that he hasn't even done it, and he's already gone through a full assessment of Mattoon Township, but nobody seems to have a problem with that.
Will you be throwing out the assessments?
No. They've been rolled over to the county clerk already.
I'm sorry?
They've been rolled to the county clerk by their supervisor assessment.
And I guess this would be for you, Mrs. Biddle, since Mr. Becker's not here. Is he actually physically going out to the properties and reassessing them or not? Or if he hasn't, are you doing that?
The township assessors did the site inspections.
Wrong. Nobody ever entered my building.
Well, we don't go in.
Don't they have to send out a notice to the property owner that that's actually going to happen? They don't have to send out a notice to the property owner?
They don't go in usually, but anyway, they just do
Well, Becker did, he went in.
Okay. I guess the next question I have is for Mr. Dagler. How long have you been on the board, sir?
My 3rd term.
Your 3rd term? During that period of time, would you say how many meetings a year do you attend?
I can get the exact data for you.
Well, my question is that you have been here for several of the past meetings, and I think this is a very important topic that we're discussing here in Pulse County. I just wanted to know why you hadn't been here.
I appreciate this concern of my whereabouts, and especially I appreciate all the gallery here tonight to help participate in this democratic process. I would like to inform you that I come up for re-election in a few years. And if you are in my district, I would like to encourage you to run. Thank you.
So no
So do you think you could give
No
your
answer.
people in your district proper representation?
I'm on the phone, I'm on the computer, I'm as far as a phone call away. Call me anytime. You know, I answer all my calls or get back to them right away.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen?
Yeah, just real quick, some of the communications the Department of Revenue, Mr. Sanders had, I think if you look at the answers in that, it did outline that if things weren't done properly, that they would have to be republished. So there was a path to fix this problem, and I would hope that steps would be taken, because it's not too late just because it was rolled, and statutes are pretty clear on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Jonathan Kay. I'm a property manager and developer in the county. And I'm very happy to see this populist uprising that we have here. And I'm glad that we're getting a little momentum. And what we're offering you is a chance at a do-over. And you're not taking that chance of a do-over. We really want you to. We're in a deflationary environment. Our properties and our businesses are under pressure. Your constituents and business people are under pressure. Raising our taxes puts us under greater pressure. And you know the results. We leave, we abandon our properties, we move out of the state. We've got to stop that. It is your leadership that can set a precedent for this do-over. I want to really encourage you to think this out rather than force us into the corner to litigate. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just real quick, in regards to Mr. Becker's employment, is he receiving county employee benefits? He's not?
I do not know.
Temporary part-time.
So he's a part-time employee? I thought it was for a year, but maybe it was 4 years.
It's a 4-year contract.
Okay.
So it is a contract.
That's a good one.
We know what it was.
That's good.
I can speak out of order here. I find it highly arrogant of you, sir. You represent the people. You may not be representing my district. I know Travis, you do. You guys are supposed to be accountable to us. When the constituency asks you why you haven't been to the meeting, all you say is, you can call me anytime. You know, there's a reason this is a huge issue for us. It may not affect you, but it affects us. And I expect my government to be here and be accountable and not take the summer off or the winter off or whatever you do. I don't know what you do because you never answered the question. You can clear it up by answering that. But I find that highly arrogant, and this is the kind of thing that drives us nuts. We have come here for 4 months with answers. I still, with all due respect to Mr. Bauer, I asked for a statute 3 meetings ago. I never got it. Never got the statute. That was over 2 months ago. That's great. If you have it, I'll take it. Thank you. But this is what drives us nuts. Can't get answers. We get arrogance. And it affects our lives.
That's good.
And so I just
That's
want you to
priceless.
understand that we will remember this come election time. I'm just telling you right now, putting you on, I will be the loudest voice you'll ever hear. So we're going to take care of this. We're going to clean this up. Government by the people, for the people.
Mr. Noster, 35 ILCS 200/13-.
Can you slow down just a little
Sure.
bit? Illinois statute 35 dash.
ILCS 200/13-2-35, and that is.
Yeah, you're going too fast.
35 ILCS 200/13-35, and that is the effect of the reassessment, which talks about the publication and the reassessment. And I do apologize because I didn't tell you that I would give you that statute at a Tuesday meeting, which unfortunately was the day prior to I had surgery, and it slipped my mind. I apologize.
Okay, yes.
Do I understand that you're going to republish the assessments or anything like that? So what happened November 29th was acceptable by this board? Is that what we're saying?
It's not this board's decision. It's
Whose is it?
Supervisor assessment.
So it's acceptable then?
I have statute, I found a statute that covers what they call informalities in the publication, and it does not invalidate the values. I have copies of that here with me.
Thank you.
But an intentional reducing of the font size should not be considered an informality, but go ahead.
Anyone else? Move to adjourn. By Weber, second by Brett Bell. Roll call, please.
There's a lot of good information.